Oh yeah, let's get this. It's going to be an interesting one for sure. Hopefully everybody is ready. Share. Boom. Make sure that thing is posted up. Hopefully everybody is ready for a good one tonight. It's going to take a little bit. I'm still waiting for Rob and everybody to get online. So once they get online, we can get this thing started. But in the meantime, I just want to, of course, I'm going to be talking about, to be honest, this Cowboys game, this Jets game coming up. Got a lot to say. And to be honest, there's a new theory that I've seen going around that I'm 100% bought into because I'm not going to lie to you. I had a 5-win ceiling, but if we end up 4-3, there might be some moves that we have to make. So let's give everybody a quick minute to hop on in here. Again, appreciate everybody coming on by. Already got 15, 20 people in here, so thank y'all. Hopefully you guys are ready for it. I'm not sure how long these guys are wanting to talk for, but I am certainly ready for it. Turn my camera off. This way I can, roll some coverage off camera. But how's everybody doing tonight? Everybody ready for this one? Everybody ready? Because I sure as heck am. Oh, look at this game, dude. Oh, it kicks it off. What the heck? Weird. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good one. Oh, man, I still can't believe we beat them. What a win. What a freaking win for this team. I'm not really sure where the ceiling is, but it is surely higher than I'm gonna be honest, than even I thought. Okay, here we go. Just making sure I update this for everybody heading in. And again, share this to anybody that you want to. And again, if you want to check out the Twitter link, you can hop over there and even hop into the chat. So don't sell yourself short. You can absolutely hop in. Come talk some Panthers football with us tonight. Oh, man, it does not like my setup right now. Hold on one second. Let me see what's going on. Okay. Maybe it's Brave. Maybe that's why. Let me put it in something else. Oh, Rob is already here. What's up, Rob?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Just trying to. I was pulling up the ESPN stats for the Panthers game, but for some reason it kept ending my little display. Let's see. Let's see if that'll work. Okay, there we go. So how you doing tonight, Rob? You doing good?
Sure. Good.
Ready to
Nice
talk
day.
some Panthers, bro? I think we
Yeah,
got some positivity finally.
you feel me? And I feel like what game? When was the last time we spoke? Like, what game were we coming off of?
We were coming off of. Oh no, I gotta look it up. I literally got it right here. It was right before this past game. It was off the Patriots game, or I'm sorry, yeah, it was going
Yeah,
into the
yeah,
Dolphins game.
yeah. Going into the Dolphins game, I think. So like that was after we got our asses whooped.
Yeah. After that 42-13 beatdown, what was not
Yeah,
good.
right. No.
But you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna tell everybody. I kind of teased a little bit when I first started this up, bro. If we come out of this and we win this game, and the
Man,
Bengals lose it, I'm not gonna lie. I probably call them up and offer them a second-round pick for Trey Hendrickson.
you feel me? Like, there's a lot we can do. Like a lot we can like. So there's a lot of options right now, man. Like
There really is.
there's a bunch of sellers because you know what? There's a lot of teams who suck right now. You know,
The Ravens.
Ravens, the Jets. You know what I'm saying? The Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
The Giants suck.
Apparently but the Giants
The
apparently might
Giants do
be.
got like some, yeah, they do got like some enthusiasm around their organization, but
Oh
they're
yeah.
not going to pay Thibodeau and have Abdul Carter and Brian Burns
No, I
and
would trade Thibodeau for
Dexter
sure.
Lawrence. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's not worth paying all those guys.
no.
But
Did you want to jump into it? Or do you want to give Zach a
no,
little
you're
more?
fine, bro. We could just start talking about it while we wait for Stop and Look, aka Zach.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like the pass rush opportunity is there. That's really what this team is missing out on. He is going to be older. Don't get me wrong. He's 30, I think, going on 31 when I'm talking about Trey Hendrickson. But we're
Yeah.
talking about a guy that can genuinely generate a lot of pass rush. Yeah, we'd have to pay him on the high side, but he would only be a 1 to 2 year, rental. And to be honest, if after 1 or 2 years he's not really that good, we're probably rebooting the franchise anyways. So he's retiring, walking out the door, not really hurting us long term, as opposed
Yeah.
to being in the situation where like, hey, I'm going to go pay like Chase Young. That makes no sense for me for a team to go pay a guy like Chase Young when he really hasn't performed at the highest level. I'd rather pay a 30, 31-year-old guy. Shoot, at this point, I'd pay a 31-year-old Max Crosby if he was that old. Like, that doesn't bother me.
Oh, yeah. If the Raiders start to flounder like that bad and he's like upset and we're looking good, like maybe 500 by the time the trade deadline comes around, I'll be
Yeah.
looking at him too, man.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I
And
don't
what's up,
know.
Zach? Zach's
Yeah.
finally here. Shout out
What's
to
up?
him.
Sorry
We'll
about that.
see.
Oh, no,
What's
you're
good,
good,
my
dude.
good brother?
I'm just glad you guys again could take time out of your nights and everything like that. I mean, I know you guys got lives, so you guys probably had better things to do than talk about a 3-3 football team tonight. But hey, we're 3-3. I'm actually happy to say that.
Yeah. We talk about them all the time anyway, so we might as well do it on a pod.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right. So come on, Zach, give me some stuff. We're 3-3. What do you think we got to look at looking into this Jets game?
I mean, we just got to be careful, man. I mean, I've been saying it to anybody who will listen to me that I think this is it has trap game written all over it. You know,
Thank you.
we haven't looked particularly as well on the road as we have at home. MetLife Stadium's not an easy place to play at, regardless of who the Giants or the Jets, for that matter, is. I mean, just look what happened to Philadelphia last week.
Yeah,
They
anybody
went
can
to New
get got.
York. Yeah. So, I think it's got trap game written all over it. We should handle business, especially without Garrett Wilson, but I don't think the guys should be overconfident.
I thought Garrett Wilson's going to be out.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
saying without Garrett Wilson.
Oh, without Garrett Wilson. I'm sorry, I misheard
Yeah.
that. Okay, so without him, I mean, to be honest, it completely changes their offense. They're talking about shipping out Brees Hall too. So if this team really goes south, I mean, this could literally blow the entire team up.
Mm.
Not only that, but that means the Bryce Reaper, as everybody keeps calling him, can claim another head coach because, to be honest, Aaron Glenn might get fired too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, I think Aaron Glenn, I mean, it's a bum deal. I don't really believe in firing coaches before a full season unless there's some weird locker room stuff going on behind the scenes. Yeah, I just feel like it's just not enough time to turn around a team that nobody expected to really be any good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and not just that, but the young guys look good. Like, obviously, we're missing out on some of them. Jimmy Horn Jr. hasn't really seen the field. Cam Jackson, dealing with a little bit of injury and stuff. But we're finally starting to see guys contribute. I mean, Nick Scorton's going to be out there at a pretty, high snap count. Same thing with Princely. I like it. I like where this team's tenacity is going. And, I criticized Dave early, as everybody did, about the whole constantly talking about execution. But, man, this last game truly showed me. Maybe it truly was just execution. Like, maybe it was just like, man, we're giving them the plays. They're just not, like, making it happen. And I
And we
think we
were
finally
dealing with
saw
a
that.
lot of injuries.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like we kind of I don't want to like gaslight the fan base and say like we overreacted too much, but we were dealing with heavy injuries on both sides of the football, and
Yep.
now we're starting to finally get a little bit more health, and we're starting to see the young guys play well. And we found our identity. I feel like the first three games we didn't have too much of an identity on offense, and we were playing behind the eight ball, forced to in like must pass situations, but. um, these last few games, you can see Dave is really started implementing gap scheme into his run game.
Yep.
And like we're the number one team in efficiency running gap scheme in the league these last few games. Um, so I like how we've developed an identity and we're getting healthy at a good time.
Yeah, yeah, and not just that. To be honest with you, we're finally playing football that is actually watchable. Like you said, we're finally finding the identity. I don't know if really 200 plus yards for a running back is sustainable long term, but I do love the move back to the, keep pounding motto. We got to run the ball regardless of what's going on. Maybe not 3rd and 8 like we've been seeing, but you know, maybe first down.
Yeah. Um, I don't think the 200 yards is like that's not sustainable. But I do think like a formula that we kind of want to run is similar to what the Lions are doing. They have a really good run game, and they have a great. They're also great in play action. Like, I think the crux of what Dave wants to be is a power run team and throwing shots down the field off of play action. I think that's what Dave really wants to get at. So I want to see us start hitting on some more explosives down the field, and
Mhm.
that'll like determine like the real ceiling of our offense.
I agree. What's your thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, I know. I 100% agree with Rob with like what Canales wants to be. He wants to establish the run and take those shots downfield. And I think getting Coker back, we're finally going to see what the idea for the offense was supposed to be when we traded Thielen. So I'm excited to see that. I do think Coker will um, open up a lot more for guys like Tetaroa and Xavier Leggett, and
Yep.
even Jimmy Horn when he gets in. Like, I mean, shout out to Jimmy Horn. He's made the most out of the opportunities that he's been provided since getting into the lineup. Like, seems like, um, you know, last week he had the big fourth down catch, and then this past
Yep.
game he had the 30 some yard catch like to open up the second half. He's killing it. Like, I think I didn't really expect too much from him aside from just maybe doing some Devin Tompkins stuff that
Yeah.
that we had last year, but he's crushed that.
I agree. I agree. And to be honest, he was a guy that early a lot of people were talking about, hey, man, maybe he doesn't even make the 53. Maybe he's got to do something where he's got to dance off the roster for just, a week or two. But
Dude, I
I
was
don't
getting
really,
worried.
yeah, yeah. To be honest, it was a struggle. And he's not the size. We clearly see what Canales wants with Bryson Tremaine getting a lot of reps. Xavier Leggett, now that he's back in Bryce's good graces, getting more reps and everything, that he wants a bigger, stronger receiver out there in most cases because it's assisting with the run game. But at the same time, man, once you put Jimmy Horn out there, he's got a different kind of speed. Like you said, you saw it in that 130 plus yard catch to open up the second half. It was like he, just decided, hey man, I'm just going to start separating from this guy. Just make sure you get the ball to me. And
Yeah.
that's really where it comes down to. It's the anticipation of the quarterback allowing a guy like that to, get down the field because Bryce is going to have to uncork that ball quickly.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, man, and something I think too, with the return of Coker into the lineup, like going into the Adam Thielen role,
Mhm.
I feel like we're really going to see Xavier Leggett turn into a more of our big play threat. He's going to be our, deep shot, deep crossers, along with Jimmy Horn. I think they're going to be our play guys, and we're going to see Coker and T Mac be our high volume guys. They're going to be playing off the run. I'm just real excited to see Coker, man. Like, I, I'm a cokehead. Zach knows this.
Hell
Like,
yes.
I think people are kind of sleeping on what his ceiling could be too. Like, He's not going to get the numbers because he missed what seven games, but
Yeah.
on a per game basis, I feel like he's going to. I think he's going to surprise people.
Absolutely. He can still put up 600 plus yards, no problem. Because to be honest with you, the one comparison that I drew with Tetaroa was Mike Evans. So who could I then draw the same comparison for a guy like Coker, even though Coker's a little bit bigger than him, is Chris Godwin. It's like, hey, man, this is a great 1-2 punch. And then you add in a guy like Jimmy Horn that can come out of there and add speed. You know, we've got our tight end in Jatavian Sanders or Mitchell Evans. Like, we've got a little core now that I think a lot of the mock drafts are having us going out and getting a wide receiver. I don't really feel like that's the need. I feel like now we need to go look at the other side of the ball. We've got the weapons. We look like at least we are trying to figure out the whole quarterback situation. And Bryce has his moments where he looks like he has it figured out. And then he has moments where, turnovers. But for the most part, I feel like we have a really good offensive structure now, even with Bryce at the helm.
Mm. I'm gonna let Zach get a chance to speak.
I mean, I agree. Like, what was that? I forgot who posted. I think it was you, Rob, but you posted that thing where the Panthers are like sixth in the NFL in offensive core, like
Oh, yeah, PFF
everything
rating.
outside of the
Yeah.
quarterback, like everything outside of the quarterback, we're like sixth in the
Yeah.
NFL.
Yep.
Yeah, supporting
As
cast
far as
rating. Yeah,
yeah, supporting cast rating, that's what it's called. I was drawing a blank, but yeah. So I mean, like, I think the supporting cast is there. You know, at this point, it's on the quarterback to make the right plays and the coach to continue to put the quarterback in the right position to make those plays. And I mean, I think this can be a very fun offense. Especially with the running game finally getting that explosive element that we haven't had this season. Like Chuba, I think, before the injury, Chuba was averaging like 4.1 yards per carry
Yeah.
around in that ballpark, and Rico hadn't really popped off yet. But these last 2 weeks, it's felt like the run game, we have that explosive element where it's like, okay, we can pop off a 30-yard run at any point now, it feels like. So, I just think it's gonna keep getting better and better as the season goes on, and like Rob said, where the ceiling of the offense goes, it really just depends.
If that's the
man.
case, man, then we need to have the conversation. What are we doing? Well, I mean, trade deadline's coming up then. I mean, again, if this
Defense,
is a
man.
4-3 team,
It's to be
do we just
defense,
make
yeah.
the trade for Trey Hendrickson and be done with it?
And that's what I wanted to see at the beginning of the season, because like people, like, I was against trading for Trey Hendrickson before the season started,
I agree
because
with you.
it's not because that I didn't think it was the right move to make. It was the fact that I didn't want us to make the move, take away the capital that and resources, whatever it took to get him locked in here, and then the defense still be trashed with him. I wanted to see, like, hey, is this defense an elite pass rush away from being a solid defense? And right now it looks like it is. I mean, we're stopping the run. Our pass defense, I think it wouldn't be as bad if we could get quarterbacks off their timing a bit more often. And I think, the pass rusher obviously helps that. Like, I don't think that, we get guys in the backfield all the time, but we just need that one guy to get in there quickly and take the quarterback out of rhythm.
Yes.
And, we'll have guys clean up sacks. We don't necessarily need a guy to come in, get, 12, 15 sacks. We just need a guy to get in there, get pressure, and then the rest of the guys can clean it up. You know what I'm saying?
Can I
Yeah.
speak to that real quick? Because
Absolutely. Go for it.
like you said, that's why I think it's not only Trey Hendrickson is an option. We can also go for Jalen Phillips. We can go for a Jermaine Johnson, a Thibodeau, guys
Mhm.
who are probably going to cost less money and less draft capital. I wouldn't be mad if Dan decides to go with that route instead of Trey as well. Like Trey is that's the big dog, that's the biggest name. But if we get one of these ancillary pieces as well, we can it's a potentially high risk. I mean, low risk, high reward.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think the Trey Hendrickson one just comes into like, there's a chance that Cincinnati after this game Thursday night, tomorrow night, goes 2-5. So they're not going to do anything, even with Joe Burrow coming back in week 13 or 14. They're not going to be able to turn anything around. They're not going to want to pay him to be on a losing team again. So they're going to probably be open to a trade. That's why he makes the most sense. Like, you want to try and pick him up. I understand the Jalen Phillips one as well. Or again, anybody from Tennessee. There's just some of these teams that just don't have anything worth doing. Or even something like the Jets. There's nobody really worth making some big blockbuster trade mid-season. I feel like you just need to go get some veteran pass rush presence that can actually win at a high level. And again, it'll most likely be a second round pick. So it's not going to be some crazy, long-term asset. Yeah, it could end up being a great player that you pass up in the second round, but based on some of the history of the Carolina Panthers, it could also be a bum. We don't know.
That's a fact. Let me get what you think about this. I kind of previewed this in Spaces earlier. I don't know if you heard what I said, Zach. But what do you think about this role? Because we all know the Bengals' offensive line is garbage, right?
Real bad.
And they're going to be playing for next year anyway.
Mm-hmm.
What if we offloaded Robert Hunt to the Bengals, a part of that package, and instead of giving them a second, we give them a third?
So
Because they're going to need a Robert Hunt or some kind of guard play to help their offensive line when Joe Burrow comes back next year. And our offensive line is too expensive. I feel like we'd be killing two birds with one stone.
So I mean, I don't hate the idea of that, but the problem is I don't think we can trade Robert Hunt because he's injured. Like I don't think we can trade a player
I don't think he could be
that's
traded
on injured reserve for the year. And so I'm not against trading Robert Hunt just because because of how well that Brady Christensen has done.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of decisions to make on the offensive line long term. We got Cade Mays that's going to need a contract. Like, there's no way we can let Cade Mays walk out. Ike Mekwonu, he's been, the numbers don't necessarily show it, but he's been really good at left tackle this year. This has probably been his best season as a pro. And we're already the most expensive offensive line. Damian Lewis has arguably he's outplayed Robert Hunt since they both got here, and he's going to need a new deal.
Yeah.
Because I think he only signed a 3-year deal with an option after 2. We're coming up on that. So he'll probably need a new deal. So I'm not against trading Robert Hunt, but I just don't think it's very realistic right now, given that he's coming off of that he's injured right now, and I'd be, I struggle to see a team trading for him before he steps back on the field next season, to show any like some sort of bill of health.
I agree. I think that if you're going to trade for a guy like Trey Hendrickson, it's going to be mostly picks, because you're right. You're not going to be able to trade a guy like Robert Hunt now. I agree that Robert Hunt should go, but if that's the case, we need to make a decision long term that we need to stop going for retread offensive linemen. We really need to start drafting our guys. If it was somehow involved with Hendrickson, it's going to be in the offseason, and then you're talking about trading for a 31 going on 32-year-old pass rusher, then I would have a little bit more concern. But then at the same time, his compensation will be a lot less in the offseason. His compensation right now is going to be like a second-round pick. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that we could make something happen. I think that there's some other opportunities maybe to shed some guys that, maybe are on the fringes, especially a guy like a Tommy Tremble, maybe some other depth offensive linemen. I'd be open to getting rid of Corbett. We'll say that. So with him coming back, I think that could be an interesting one. That and say a 3rd or a 4th round pick for Trey Hendrickson. I think that might be able to get the deal done.
Off the top of your heads, do either of y'all know how long Corbett's under contract for?
I thought it was just this year.
I'm sure this is last year. Yeah, this is last year.
Okay.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
He's already been here. He's already been here 2 years. I think this year was it wasn't even a guaranteed year.
He's an unrestricted free agent after this year.
Okay. I mean that could be an option. Is try and leverage him as a part of some deal, but I mean, with the way things are going, I would much rather him, knock on wood, knock on whatever, I'd much rather him if something happens to Brady, sliding into that right guard spot, than like Zavala or whatever the other kid's name is, or once again, knock on wood, something happens to Mays. I would much rather slide Brady to center and have Corbett go into right guard. I don't want Corbett snapping the ball anymore, but I do think he can be an asset on the interior.
His depth.
Okay. Yeah, because at this
Yeah.
point you're looking at Nick Samak and Josh Yman, or I'm sorry, I always call him Josh. It's Yosh Nyman. And that's pretty much it. The other one is Jake Curran.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
really.
Who
I'm
are
not
these
gonna be able to
people?
remember all those names.
I mean, Samak had some hype, I believe, with the Ravens
Yeah,
preseason
but unfortunately,
squad,
quickly
but
faded.
yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a 7th-round pick, so like like the bar is not crazy high, but at the same time, he's 24 years old. There's so much potential there. It's just more of this team can't continue to be like, oh my God, this guy has so much potential.
Yeah.
We got to play him. We're at the point now where like if we come out of this game, and again, I can't believe I'm saying this, I believe we should absolutely come out of this no problem with a win. This should not be a game that's close. This should be an Atlanta Falcons repeat. 30-0, something where you're just like, we are actually a team that can do it.
Yeah.
But if we don't, then it makes sense. Don't make a trade. Maybe trade off an asset, like you said. If you could trade off a Hunt, that would be a fantastic time to do it. Unfortunately, Hurt. But if there's anybody that they want to get rid of, now would be the time. Because if you end up going to 3-4, you're not really going to contend because the games coming down the pipeline are going to be real hard.
Let's see. After the Jets, we have Buffalo, then we have
Green
the
Bay.
Packers.
Yeah. New Orleans, Atlanta, San Francisco, and then the Rams. So that's a little bit of time right there.
But you know what? I don't
The
even
Rams
think
game
those teams
scares
are
me
as
the most
scary.
out of those.
Yeah.
Out of all those, the Rams probably
Packers-
scare me the most if they're healthy.
The Rams are going to roll. It'll be week
Packers-
13. It'll be right before our bye. Our team is not going to be in it. The Rams are going to roll. So that one, if you want to bet the Rams already, you can probably already lock that in. But I agree with the other ones. If we can come out of this Jets game with a win, I think the other ones are more in contention. I don't know about the Buffalo game or the Packers game, but I'm obviously with you when it comes to anything to do with the Saints or the Falcons. And then obviously the 49ers are shredded.
Well, Buffalo can't stop the run, so that's
right. Yeah,
I watch Buffalo on Monday night. Like, they can't tackle. They're getting blown off the line of scrimmage. Like, I think we can hang with them as long as we don't let Josh Allen
or we stop the run. Like you see how they stop the run.
Right.
We're already a run stopping team. If we don't let them get Cook involved, who's scared of Keon Coleman? You know what I'm saying?
Nobody.
Who's scared of Josh Palmer? You feel
All
me?
right.
Like, their weapons aren't scary. Like Josh Allen's going to have to carry. Like I'm not too scared of the Bills anymore. Like they're kind of lost some of their luster. And shoot, the Packers, they haven't been playing that well either. They tied with the team that we beat. The Cowboys. Now,
that's right.
Scared of Micah Parsons, but that's the only person I'm truly scared of on that team.
To be honest, I'm not even that scared of Micah Parsons right now. Their defense is good enough that he just makes it like just that much better. But I'm not going to lie, it kind of neutralizes him a little bit. When he was in Dallas, he was able to be on fire because he was the biggest, thing there. Now I feel like everybody else around him is so good that it kind of takes away from him just a tiny bit. But regardless, I want to ask you a question about this. So obviously, Atlanta played and beat the Bills. We beat Atlanta 30-0. We better beat Buffalo because otherwise the Falcons are going to be like, oh my God, it was a fluke that you beat us and all this other. I don't want to see that on Twitter.
Hey, I mean, the Falcons fans, they're going to talk junk to us regardless. That just is what it is. And 9 times out of 10, it's because they're going to start it. And then when we respond, they're going to say we want to be there. Right. Like I don't pay attention to that fan base anymore.
Yeah, you see that, bro?
Dude,
like they're unserious. So, I mean, we'll see them in November. Hopefully they come to play this time.
Yep.
Because if we mess around and sweep them this year, like I don't like
the trash talking is going to be loud.
Yeah, they're gonna
Yeah,
start bringing up all-time series like shit that happened
yeah,
from
they're
the
gonna
early
start bringing up
2000s.
Michael Vick stats and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and like I'm yeah, nobody cares. But I mean, like it's matchups. I mean, Buffalo will be coming out of their bye week when they come to Bank of America. But like I said, like that's not going to fix their run defense. It's not going to fix their lack of weapons. Um, so I mean, I think we can. I think we can hang with Buffalo as long as we execute and play our game.
I agree. And as long as Bryce can minimize the turnovers.
Yeah, yeah, and that's part of the execution. Like
Yep.
I joked about this before the game on Sunday, but I almost feel like we should hire a hypnotherapist to like put him under and kind of convince him to that that he's already turned the ball over twice and that we're down by 2 scores, and then you wake him up and then we play the
Yeah,
game.
he'll lock in at that point.
Yeah. We just got to get the government, the government mandated interception out the way, and we'll be fine.
I'm not gonna lie, that's hilarious. I think that it's something weird about him because he always talks about, again, I always bring up the quote, I don't take motivation from outside factors. It's like, okay, so you're down 2 interceptions. Now you're taking motivation from outside factors. Like now all of a sudden, you're one of the best quarterbacks out there. It blows my mind. Like, 2-8, he can't make a simple pass, but all of a sudden we're down, 21 and Tom Brady's here.
Yeah, I think that's just his quirk. Like his quirk is, you know, he doesn't fully get out on himself.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen the outbursts that he had early on in the season, but he doesn't ever really lose that ability to stay in the moment and try, because you see some guys, if you see some guys, they have like turnovers on back-to-back possessions, like they're checked out for the rest of the game.
Yep.
you know like with Bryce, like he may not fully bounce back from those 2 turnovers, but sometimes he does, and you'll never see him just phone it in. So I think that's just his quirk, and I think the whole pro ready supercomputer processing that we were sold in the draft, that might not be the case. He's just kind of like, he's more.
He's a
He
human
might end
being.
up. He
Or
might
he'll just
end
have
up
to
being
grow
more
into it.
gunslinger than Drew Brees, if that makes sense.
Well, I
Can I
think
ask you guys a
also,
question?
yeah, go for it.
So speaking of Bryce, it's funny because I was in a space and they were asking me like, you saying what, you don't trust Bryce? And I was like, I don't trust him yet, but he's earned my optimism like to a certain degree. What would it take from you guys from the rest of the year for you to trust Bryce?
I don't think for me it's me trusting Bryce. If I'm going to be honest with you, I think it's Bryce trusting Bryce. It's been my big thing that I think has been kind of boiling under the table. We heard from Derek Brown. I think it was after the Patriots game where he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just waiting for like a leader kind of thing." I don't think that Bryce is the guy that's going to lead us to the mountaintop. I think he's just going to be the guy that's going to again manage everything. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I think he can go out there and win you games as well. But it's not going to be in every game. You cannot go out there and ask him to win 17 games. You can go out there every game and ask him to not lose 17 games, and he can do that. But there will be times where he can go off for that 5 touchdown moments. But I do think that comes down to his personal confidence. Because if you go back and watch that Atlanta game, which is the one that everybody is going to talk about forever, I mean, when he is literally cocking back and throwing the ball, you're seeing the anticipation like it was during the not the Cowboys game, during the Miami game, where like Bryce is literally uncorking it. If as soon as his back foot hits that third step and the 3-step drop, the ball's out. Like he's not even thinking about it. T-Mac hasn't even made the pivot yet, and the ball's already coming out. That's when we see the best Bryce Young. If we're not getting that Bryce Young, we're not getting the best quarterback. So I don't think it's as much everybody else or any other thing. I think it's truly just him being like, hey, man, I just have to trust that they're going to be there. But then again, that gives us the idea that, he didn't trust Xavier Leggett for a while. He didn't trust these other wide receivers. That's why we weren't able to push the ball down the field. And now once he can trust guys, once he can trust Jimmy Horn Jr. to get down the field, hey, the offense looks pretty awesome.
Well, how say use that?
For me to trust Bryce, I mean, going forward, for me to put like 100% faith, like I said, like I'm not doing the week to week, reactions to the quarterback play. I'm just going to wait to the end of the season. I would probably say, if he stays on the trajectory that he's on right now, about 3,500 passing yards and 30 total touchdowns, I would say, okay, like this is good for me. This is good enough for me.
Yeah.
I like the trajectory of what he's on as of right now, but because it seems like every time I decide to go full on Bryce defender, he shows his ass and makes me look silly. And every time I go full on, like, oh, I want to, get rid of this guy, like, give me a new quarterback, that's when he starts to play well again. So, I'm just going to sit back and wait for the final, the final product, what he put on field.
I agree with that. I don't think that there's a way that even now we can even have the discussion about a 5th-year option. Even though I think at this point you just take it, and worst case he's the backup. Just positive PR wise, just make sure that that's done, and then just not even think about it. I still think it's probably a little bit too early to even have that discussion.
Well, I think with most quarterbacks, they've done the 5th year. Most quarterbacks get their 5th year after year 3. So I would say after this year, they'll probably want to make the decision on it, just because, God, like the last thing I want is a Daniel Jones situation where, we don't pick up the 5th year option.
Yep. He
has his best year, and then it's either we got to pay him or let him. Like, I don't want anything like that. Like, I want, we should have as much time to, gather data on him as possible.
I agree with you, and that's where it comes down to finishing out good on this year. Because if not, and we end up, let's say, for example, we win this game. Okay, we're at 4 wins. We finish the year at 5 wins or 6 wins. That means the rest of the year was a giant catastrophe, and people will be like, oh, my God, we were 4-3. What the hell happened? And then what happens? We're probably looking at another quarterback at least. Maybe not first round, maybe second round, third round. But we're absolutely making a decision to put somebody back there. I mean, Drew Aller just got hurt, so he's going to be able to absolutely fall for so many people. So this kid next year getting drafted, might end up being a 3rd or 4th round quarterback like a Jordan Travis was, or he could end up being, a top round pick. It kind of depends. But I feel like this year and these next 2 or 3 games really helps decides Bryce's future with the team.
So you think they go the draft route again?
I think they don't have
a quarterback.
I think they don't have a choice, but again, that's also comes down to the idea that they collapse. Because if we go through this, and let me pull the schedule up again so this way I can look at it, because it keeps not wanting to stay on screen. Okay, so if we end up coming out of this Jets game, so we'll be 4-3. Then we have 6 straight games before the bye. Then we come out of it with 3 out of 4 games in division: Saints, Bucks, Seahawks, Bucks to end the year. So that's 10 games. So if we go 5-5 in that, that's a great thing. 9 wins. We might contend for the division depending on how that happens. But there's a better chance that we return a little bit to form. I do think that the 200 rushing yards is a little bit of an aberration. I shouldn't even have to preface it by saying a little bit. 200 yards by a running back is insane. On a regular basis, too, back-to-back games is crazy. So the idea that that's going to continue and this offense is going to keep humming at the same level doesn't make sense. So I feel like we're just unfortunately getting set up for just a return to earth, and that's where you have to go back to the decision. Okay, was it Bryce not making the decisions? Was it him not calculating or running the offense the right way or whatever? Or is he just continuing to add 2 turnovers basically a game? If that's the case, then you can put it squarely on Bryce, and then you're like, okay, we need to go get a quarterback, and we could ignore some other stuff for another year. I don't think that's maybe the right decision. I agree with the decision that we should go out there and start getting linebackers, tackles, really building for the future, as opposed to being like, oh my God, quarterback from college must fix everything. I don't think even asking Bryce at the time when he came in to just come in and fix the Carolina Panthers was ever a viable option, regardless of pretty much who you put on that team. Carolina wasn't the team to do that. The team to do that were teams where everything else was already built.
See, I
just don't think it makes sense to get a quarterback.
Just going off of how the owner, and I guess it might not even matter because he's quote unquote hands off now, but just going off of like how
we don't
he's
believe that.
overcorrected on coaching hires. So his first coaching hire was Matt Rule, complete new to the NFL, like had like almost no NFL experience. He was like a quality control coach for the Giants for like 2 seasons, like 15 years ago or whatever. But
yeah,
no experience in the NFL, all the experience in college. Okay, that doesn't go well. He goes in the complete polar opposite way and brings in Frank Reich, wealth of NFL experience, super, knowledgeable in the game. That doesn't work. And he settles in the middle with Dave Canales, a guy who doesn't have a whole lot of experience at the top of coaching staffs, but he's got a lot of experience in the league.
Yep.
I would think that we would do something similar with quarterback. We have the quarterback. We tried the rookie thing. Okay, I think they would be more inclined to find a guy that needs a second chance or even a third chance. Maybe, you look at guys around the league. You saw Sam Darnold have his resurgence. He spent a year in San Francisco on the bench. Went to Minnesota. Lit it up, and now he's in Seattle playing almost at an MVP level. You look at Daniel Jones. He gets cut from New York, goes to Minnesota for 5-6 games at the end of the year last year.
Yeah.
And now he's in Indianapolis, got those guys 5-1. Or he's helping get those guys 5-1. You look at guys in a similar situation, Mac Jones, he's in San Francisco right now, and I mean, he's not necessarily lighting it up out there, but he's playing pretty good. He's playing just as well at least as Brock Purdy would be. And I think they would look at a guy like that. You have guys like Trey Lance and Malik Willis that are also out there. They've shown signs of life more than what they did in their initial stops in the league. So I think there's options. Yeah. I mean, because if you look at the guys in this year's draft class, I think you would almost have to get some type of veteran anyways, because I don't think any of those guys are ready to start right away to begin with. Unless you're drafting top 3 again, and you get
which
like
at this point
Dante
isn't
Moore or
happening.
something. No, I don't think. No, we're playing ourselves out of that.
We're not catching the Titans, the Bengals, or
we'll be a 9th, 10th pick again. Normal Carolina Panthers,
and that's at worst. And that's at worst, of course. I think we finish better than 6 wins this year.
That's a big W then.
Yeah, but if we're looking at those second, third round guys, I don't think any of those guys are going to be ready to start. So you almost would have to get a Mac Jones type player or Trey Lance type player anyways, because I don't think Dalton, you're not going to trot Dalton out there for a season and tell me your plan is to win football games. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know, our guy Jordan Cork is, he's somewhere.
He's a Dalton dude.
Respect to him. But I don't think you're gonna put Dalton out there and tell me you're gonna win football games. It's just not. Especially not 2013.
Especially not in the long term.
Come to the games. Nobody's gonna support that shit.
No.
And that's the hard part is then you get clowned on television. I mean, even one of the people posted, I think it was Hayden Winks or somebody was like, "Oh my God, look at the stands during this touchdown." It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, he
Bro, I
posted
was
the
at
like
the
those.
game. The stadium was rocking.
It was
It
rocking,
wasn't
but
just
there was
like
still
it
it was those
wasn't the sweet
$1,000 seats
seats.
in the end zone that were
Yeah,
empty.
Yeah,
yeah.
I
The
don't think.
stadium was
I
full,
think
pretty
he was
full.
being. I don't think he was being very like, you know, fair. Like you don't look at like $1,000 end zone seats and say, oh yeah, the stadium's empty because it's like no, like just nobody's paying for end zone seats.
Exactly,
Yeah,
especially on a team that, to be honest, to this point, wasn't worth buying end zone seats for.
yeah,
Like, it'd be a different story if we had a recent history of exploding or doing well at any point of football, but we've suffered on both sides of the ball. So, yeah, I just don't know where we go from here because, again, I really, really hope that this isn't the trap game that you talk about, Zach. I really hope that this is the one where we look at it and we're like, okay, you know what? This Carolina Panthers team really showed it. I mean, to be honest, the offensive scheme looked good. Did you
Mhm.
guys hear those comments on Mac and Bones about the scheme being, quote unquote, all over the place?
yeah.
I thought
When
that was interesting.
come up for it to like recently.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
yesterday or
what Luke
today.
Kuechly said, you're
Yeah,
talking about, right? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I
Are
mean,
you talking about
like
like
Dave has been
disorganized or
no,
was he
like
like
all over the place,
complimenting
like
it?
unpredictable, like good.
yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, Dave's
Because
been solid this year. Like
yeah,
I have my qualms about how he does certain things.
Yeah,
I think he's a little. I think he's still a little too, nice guy, kind of like I just like I have certain qualms about, but like as far as like what he's done like during the games, like he's been mostly solid.
I agree.
Um,
I
you know,
really like Dave's scheme, man. And like you get to see the best of it when the run game is working. And
yeah,
he likes these play action deep shots, and like I feel like he's really able to get players like wide open. So like I don't think Dave Canales' offense is. I don't think it's going to be too hard to run for Bryce, especially if our run game is working. And it doesn't have to go for 200 rush yards as long as we're getting some explosives in the run game. So like I feel like we now have the pieces to be a really good offense.
hmm
I agree with
I was
you.
going
And
to ask you guys like I feel like the ceiling for this offense, because I'm really high on Tederaw, I'm really high on Coker. I think Jimmy and XL can be our big play threats, our chunk gainers. Then we have a good running game and a good running scheme. I feel like we can be a top of the league offense for the rest of the season.
yeah, I 100% agree.
agreed.
Like, it's that is what it could be. I think once again there's like some down to down stuff that needs to get cleaned up. But I mean, if things keep going and we're allowed to build the run game's going, like this is going to be, like I said earlier, it's going to be a fun offense to watch. And I think there's not going to be too many games where we should feel like we're out of it before the game starts. Like I said, like the Rams scare me just because they're young and fast on defense, and I think they'll be able to challenge us.
Absolutely.
Um, they'll be able to challenge all. But like when I look at like some of these other teams, like none of those defenses like really like worry me. Like San Francisco without Fred Warner, I mean
Or Nick
that
Bosa.
really, yeah, no Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner for San Francisco. Like, do they really put fear in your heart? Like, yeah, they're going to be well coached, they're going to be fundamentally sound, but they don't
Yeah.
have those difference makers on that side of the ball to really, they should really scare you.
I agree with you. I think the scary part from me personally is I don't know what quarterback I'm getting. And
mhm.
that's where I feel like the biggest criticism comes into it. It's like, I want to just be able to trust that Bryce is going to go out there. And you know what? If he does give me 2 turnovers, at least he gives me a big fighting effort on the way back. And you know what? Maybe we can claw back into it. I think that would be a totally fine way to handle it if that's what somebody was
No,
telling me.
no, man. The turnovers have to stop.
I agree with you. But if you're telling
They
me
have
that
we have
He
to
if you're
said the
draw
telling
the
me,
turnovers
line,
have to
bro.
stop.
I agree. But the problem is if they don't, there's no better option. And that's the problem that I find myself going back to. What if? Okay, what if the turnovers keep going? That means that Canales is fighting for his job then at that point. People are calling for his job. The scheme sucks. Those 2 games were Rico Dowdle. They'll take all the credit that people have given to Dave Canales away, and they'll be like, "No, he's the problem, and Bryce is too. So they need to go." And then we restart the whole process again with no real guarantee or no real proof in the pudding that we can actually fix it. So I just,
think
I'm at a weird place
I
with it
think
because I need to see it one more time, and then I'm willing to commit. The
Something
rate,
would have to go really wrong for us to fire
so
Canales at this point.
yeah.
I agree, but that's the thing. What happens if we finish the year, with 5 wins? We get out of this next game with 4, and we win literally one more game. Say, for example, say it's the
Oh, that
Falcons
would be a
game.
disaster. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that'd be. I don't even
that's
know
like
what that would look like.
that's like doomsday worst case.
That's why I
like
always say, "What if?"
like
That's why I just walk
yeah,
down
yeah,
the
yeah.
walk down the street with me. How does it happen? How does it all unfold? Because we know it's the NFL. All of a sudden, there's days where guys just don't show up, and there's days where everybody's on the other team shows up, and then you
Who
just
got
get dog
hurt?
walked. Yeah, or who gets
Yeah.
hurt and all that
Yeah,
other stuff.
that,
There's so
that's
much
my question there. Like,
randomness.
Yeah.
But at this point, I mean, yeah, we've got injuries, especially the offensive line. But outside of offensive line, we don't really have anything crazy. I mean, we did just lose, what was it, Pat Jones, right?
mhm.
So that one's a little sad. But, I mean, we've got young pass rushers. We've got, 2 healthy linebackers. Derek Brown is playing well. J.C. Horn played good for the most part,
Yeah. So we did lay out the doomsday case too, but like I want to say, you know, if I just want to lay this case out too. Say we get some added progression from our young edge rushers and Nick
Yep.
Gordon and Princely. They continue to develop. They start coming on. We also trade for a passer, and we get some continued development from Trevor Wallace. I'm not going to say Roseboom because he kind of is what he is at this point.
Yep.
The offense starts to take off. I feel like we will be maybe one more great draft class away from being like a consistent contender. And that's like what I'm kind of looking for. I don't think we're going to be a great defense this year, but I think we can start building the bones towards becoming a great offense.
I
And
agree.
then one more free agency class, one more draft class, and talent into the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Before we're like where the Bucks are, you know what I'm saying? I don't think the Bucks are crazy far away from us, talent wise.
No, but at this point, to correct the mistakes that this team and the issues that this team has, people are going to hate the draft class. It's going to need to be like a 1st-round pick linebacker, a 2nd-round pick tackle, a 3rd-round pick safety, maybe even another linebacker, another offensive lineman, then, maybe a backup, 5th, 6th, 7th-round quarterback. You're really going to have to take the positions that people cannot stand and that people devalue. But the one thing I must say is Carolina needs to change that every year, to be honest with you, because the one thing that the Bucks do every year is go get an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman. You need to go out there and constantly keep replenishing those. Our last offensive lineman drafted was Chandler Zavala almost 3 years ago. That's
Right.
He sucks,
inexcusable.
so
That's inexcusable. And not just that, but we also have to still deal with the whole Ika Mekwanu long-term, because he's still giving up a lot of pressures.
yeah. There's going to be some decisions to make on this offensive line for
Yep, like which team are we sending Robert Hunt to?
sure. Man, I get
It's
so much
tough,
flack
man.
for saying it on the TL too, man.
I don't think it can happen until next season starts. I just don't
I
see
agree
a
with you.
realistic
No, I agree with you. I
path
think
for
it's an
that to
off-season
happen.
move.
Not even an off season. Like, I don't think a team is going to trade for him coming off an injury until they see
Oh, until he's in
something.
training camp or something.
Yeah, until they see something like on field from
Okay.
him. Because
he had a bicep. I don't. It's not a career. Like I can understand if it was like an
No, he
ACL.
might return this season, but I think that by the
Yeah.
time we're ready to really go, we're not going to be competing for anything. So there's going to be no point in rushing him back.
Hey, chill out with that pessimism, bro.
Hey, listen, if we're 8 wins, week 15, and we can maybe make those last 2 and, maybe try for 10, I'm down. But at that point, we absolutely already made the Trey Hendrickson trade, or we went out and did something. To be honest, at this point, I wouldn't mind going and trading for any of the linebackers the Packers have because they do have quite a few really good ones up there.
And then they have a linebacker that we should have drafted.
All of
Oh, you
them,
talking about
Edgerrin Cooper.
Yeah,
yeah.
Adrian Cooper. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh,
Imagine we
don't
had
even.
that guy on our.
Oh, bro, don't even get me started on what we could have done with draft classes. There are some things we made some horrible decisions, but it doesn't matter. We're here now, 3-3. We might be 4-3. Talking this time next week. So,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
So what's you guys' official score predictions before we get out?
Official score prediction. I'm going to say I think it's going to be a somewhat low scoring defensive game. I'm going to say we win 23-13.
I'm gonna go 17-3 Carolina.
Okay.
I'm going 24-7 Carolina.
Okay.
I really want to go crazy and go like 34-17, but I'm like, man, the Jets can't score for shit.
See,
Yeah.
I think their run defense is going to
Oh, it's
provide
gonna be
just enough
amazing.
resistance. They're going to provide just enough resistance to us to where we can't just have our way completely with them, or else I
Yep.
would have said something like 30-13. I do think they'll have some. I think Justin Fields will be able to, abracadabra some plays out of thin air just because I don't fully trust our linebacking core. Like
I agree.
I think he'll probably have some plays where he gets the better of Roseboom and Wallace.
Yep.
Personally, I would have Trevon Moehrig spy him most of the game,
I
if
agree.
not all the game. Anytime he tries to run out, just have 7, take his head off.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, at this point, I don't really care
wanna
what
see
they
the
do. Put a
defense create some
safety.
turnovers.
I agree, but I think
Yeah, I
that
want
this
to see
could be
us
the
get some
game
picks.
to spark that team for us to make a decision. Like if we
Yeah.
go into this game, we're like, man, if we just had just a better pass rush, imagine what we could have done to the Jets. Then that might be enough for them to be like, hey, maybe this is finally what we need. Because I agree, we need to get some sort of turnover, sack. We need to do something on the defensive side because unfortunately, just them not, giving up basically giant chunk plays, we're able to actually compete.
Mhm.
So we're so close. We're just missing something.
I
On the
think it all
defensive
comes
side,
from
I think it's
pressure.
linebacker.
I
Yeah,
think it
we
comes
need to.
from pressure. We're not going to be able to commit we're not going to be able to create turnovers without, flustering quarterbacks unless they just like go out there and just make a knucklehead throw for no reason. Like
Yeah.
we have to get pressure on the quarterback, speed up their internal clock. And I think it starts with getting better on the edge. I was hoping that Turk Wharton would be able to be like that pass rusher for us.
Yeah.
But he just hasn't been healthy enough this year to really make too much of a difference, and it's almost like our defense is almost better without him out there. Like
I
I
agree.
hate to say it because he was like our second biggest free agent acquisition, and I want that to be a success. But I mean, Bobby Brown is so much better than him. Even Ashawn Robinson's better than him. Obviously, Derek Brown's better than him, but those two guys have been so much better than him so far that it's just kind of like, did we really need to pay him, or do we really need to bring him in? We could have, either saved that money or used that money elsewhere.
You know
I
how I
agree with
felt
you.
about it.
I know, and I this is why I didn't really want to say this in front of you, or at least with you on here, just because like I was always
Don't
like, no,
overpay
Wharton's
mid
gonna be all right.
players.
Wharton's gonna be all right. I mean, I still think
Yeah.
we didn't have a shot at Milton, just
I
because I
agree.
think he played us. He played us for the bidding war.
Leverage.
Which I
Yeah,
can't fault him. Go get your money.
I would
yeah.
have rather overpaid him at this point, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I think part of the issue could be the scheme, though. Like, if I'm going to be honest with you, Evero is a little bit of the issue of why guys like Turk and stuff like that are not going to be able to truly get to their highest potential.
Well,
If we ever fire our DC, I will personally be at the head of the 4-3 marketing because
we can't go back to a 4-3 at this point. We have to I think like our front seven at this point is more 3-4 coded than it is 4-3 coded.
Come
I
Yeah,
on,
look at a
man.
guy
with
like
the nose tackle,
yeah, like we have true nose tackles. You know,
Princely.
yeah, Princely. I mean, Princely's not going to put his hand in the dirt for that consistently. I think
Fair.
Scorton could probably
Yeah,
be
he
a
probably could.
4-3 edge, but I mean, he was better in the 3-4 in college. So I just think, I think we got to stick with the 3-4, and we just need more juice in the pass rush department
Yeah,
for it
and
to work.
maybe I think we're pass rusher, really rock solid linebacker, and a safety away from being elite defense.
I agree with
Yeah,
you. I do think, though, we really need to start thinking about a long-term tackle. Moten is not really going to be on this team
mhm.
forever. Ickham, we don't really love, so we really need to start thinking about that. But yeah, I feel like number one is linebacker. I'm just not going to lie. I think with Ransom on the team, I really wish we would have gotten Jack Sawyer last year. But I mean, I genuinely think we should just start drafting as many Ohio State players as possible. Give me the
That
linebacker from Ohio State.
Reese, yeah, he's
They,
Yeah,
they
he's
got
he's
two of
getting a
them.
lot of
They got
buzz.
two.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
They got
yeah,
another.
yeah. They
Just
got the
start
one
drafting
that
all of them.
yeah, they got one that's like he was like a 6'5" safety, and they converted him to linebacker.
Jesus. Yeah,
Sony
that's what I said the other
Styles.
day.
Yeah,
Somebody needs to
Yeah,
do that. Somebody needs to figure out how to convert some big, amazing safety that can do it all and just be like, now go do it as a linebacker because now you can lay the wood on some motherfuckers.
well,
and be great in
that's what what's his
coverage.
face was
Yep.
supposed to be.
Thomas Davis.
No. Kid from Clemson,
The
Isaiah
Isaiah
linebacker?
Simmons.
Simmons. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
Yeah,
what he was supposed to be almost.
but Thomas Davis was a converted safety who played really well at linebacker.
Yeah. Well, Thomas Davis was drafted to pretty much be a counter to Michael Vick.
this
Just
one right
because,
here,
like,
this mock draft has us taking a cornerback out of LSU.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it, but I think we could do better than
Yeah,
cornerback in round one.
what's his name? Mansu Delane, something like that.
Yeah,
He's
Mansour
really
Delane.
good, but he's really good. But like, I was even like, when I was watching the game on Sunday. How are you going to expect these corners to guard for 5 seconds plus? Like,
Yeah.
they're not going to be able to guard without any pressure on the quarterback. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we got to take care of the edge room first before I think before we draft another corner, and
I
early at
agree.
least.
The one person I will say I don't give a shit if he's there if we have 15, I do not care if he's there, is the defensive lineman from Clemson, Peter Woods. I don't
Hmm.
care about drafting a defensive lineman in the first round unless they are lights out the best player in college football like Jalen Carter was.
Hmm.
Unless it's that level, I don't care. I'll take literally anybody else other than a running back. The whole Jeremiah Love thing, I don't get, but that's a whole separate thing.
Hey,
That's
I, I
funny.
think I think like I don't want it, but I really think a dynamic running back is still something we kind of like. We kind of need a Brooks. You feel me?
I will
Like
fight
to
you, Rob, if
take
we
us.
take a
No,
running
no,
back.
I don't want it.
I will
I'm just
fight
saying
you.
for our ceiling, like because I think we can really copy like what the Lions are doing and have that kind of format down the
What
line. If Brooks works out, I think our offense will it'll look amazing. It can really
the
benefit from
thing
that.
with the Lions though is they had buku first round picks.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
had
when they
Penny
took when they
Sewell.
took Gibbs, they also had another first round pick that year to where they were able to double dip on on first rounders. Like we probably aren't going to have that luxury, so it's just like we have to make the
How did they get all
the
those
pick count.
picks?
The trade they for Stafford,
Oh yeah,
because
okay.
not only did they get Goff in return, but they got a few firsts, I believe, and some like seconds.
Oh, they took Jack
Yeah,
Campbell and Sam Laporta. That was right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like,
and they took Brian Branch that draft.
Yep.
yeah, like they got a haul, man.
Yeah, they did it right. And that's the thing. That is where Carolina needs to make the decision. Hey, we're not going to go out there and keep taking wide receivers in the first round. or the first 2 rounds. We need to start getting those ugly positions because, like this other one that I'm looking at, has us taking the edge out of Auburn, Keldrick Falk, which is
Hmm.
fine. But we're passing on Caleb Downs, Carnell Tate, and Arvell Reese, all 3 State guys. If Caleb Downs is on the board, I'm taking Caleb Downs or Carnell Tate, or again, like we talked about, Arvell Reese. I think teams just need to figure out what the Eagles already figured out. Just draft all the same guys from the same school.
Yeah.
Like
So
they went out and were the Philly Bulldogs forever. Like it was a joke until they won a Super Bowl.
I'm honestly shocked that we even took Ransom because, like, for a while there, I just didn't even think we scouted the Midwest.
Oh, I loved the Ransom
Because
pick. I was like, please get Ransom.
because
And then when we did,
we
Zach's a
only
ransom guy too.
I'm a big pay the ransom guy, but
yep.
no, we only draft out of the ACC, SEC, and Pac-12. Like we barely draft out of the Big Ten, and it's kind of frustrating because like everybody wants the identity to be keep pounding. We want to be this tough football. Like what's better than Big Ten football at like what everybody wants our identity to be.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
and that's the thing. To establish the run, to do all that stuff, you got to play big, tough nosed football. So you got to go get it from the big, tough nosed schools. Like Georgia was a fantastic school for the Eagles to focus their drafting efforts on for multiple years. This way, when all those guys drop onto the field together, they have multiple years of experience. They already know their tendencies. They know these guys. I loved seeing the video of them. It wasn't the year that they won the Super Bowl. I think it was the year before. But it was all their guys going out to dinner and they were talking and everything. I forget if it was in Hard Knocks or whatever the heck it was. But yeah, they're literally all sitting at the table talking about all the stuff they did in college together and everything. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like if you're going to pick guys constantly from these big places, just keep going back. It would make a whole lot of sense to take Caleb Downs and then in the second round, take the second linebacker from Ohio State and then go get the tackle from Ohio State. Like it makes sense to put all these guys together. Plus, that they're being coached at a high level. Like they can handle it.
Yeah, that would be cool. Pairing Ransom back up with Downs, and then kind of using Morig like a hybrid linebacker or like in dime packages. He can come in and play closer to the line of scrimmage.
Oh yeah,
And, you know what I'm saying?
have them
Getting
cover tight
another
ends.
and getting another a linebacker to just shore up that front seven. You know what I'm saying?
Can we
that
just
would be
bring
my
back
only
Kimura?
issue with taking Downs is that like Moreg has been so good to where like you can't justify leaving him off the field. I mean, obviously you don't have to play Ransom because he's a 4th-round pick or whatever. But I
Yeah.
mean, at some point you're going to want to get him on the field. So if you draft a Caleb Downs, Downs and Morrig are probably going to be your safeties.
Yep.
For the majority of the snaps.
Here's the thing,
So
though.
then you
Like,
trade Morg, maybe?
He
well,
can't. He's been so good. Like he's our best tackler on defense.
he
I
can be
agree.
like that. He can be like our big nickel. You know what I'm saying? And Zach, I don't think we have a real true center field safety on the roster.
No, we
Like
don't.
that's playable. You know what I'm saying? So, and if you saw that touchdown, that Jake Ferguson scored, like I think
Yeah.
it was Trevor. I think it was Trevor Wallace's fault. But if we had a more rangy safety playing that center field role, like I think we would have been able to negate like something like that. So I do think like a true. I don't. I think Caleb is versatile, but like a safety that has a lot of range, like, I think that would be a weapon for our team.
See, I thought that was on Ransom that touchdown Jake Ferguson
It
because
had to have been
I
because
thought
Ransom was the
Wallace
worst rated player on the
because I
team.
thought Wallace was like I thought he could have done a better job, but I thought he did his job for what the coverage needed him to do. But that's the problem. That's why I don't like cover 3 that close to the end zone, just because
Well,
there's too much there's the
There's too
zones they're
much space.
too there's like you don't
it,
have enough time to get
it would have been hard for
to your
Ransom to
spot.
cover that much ground, to be honest. But look, it was
Well, that's what
actually
I'm saying.
it wasn't pure cover three. It was match three. Like if you look at it, J.C. Horn he triggered on the underneath route, and he didn't like drop as if it was
Mhm.
like a traditional cover three. It
Yeah.
turned into man, but Trevin, he didn't play it like it was man. When your player, when your guy goes deep and match, you're supposed to follow him into the end zone, and he kind of played it like he was watching the quarterback's eyes instead of playing man coverage like he was supposed to. And it kind of made Ransom's job a little bit harder. So maybe it's a negative on both of them, but I don't think Trevor played it correctly.
It's just
I,
young players making young player mistakes. Then
and that's the
you know,
hard part is like we're at the point now where if they keep making those mistakes, they're with a new coach, and we're
yeah,
having this conversation again next year about, oh well now we got other guys in that are making the same mistakes, and like I just want this team to finally just do it, just break through the mold and be like, you know what, we may not be an 8 or a 9 win team this year, or maybe we are, but it's not going to be something where next year we're like, oh man, we're struggling for 2 wins again. Like I want it to be like, oh hey, you know what? We're 3-3 again. We're contending for 4-3 again.
I'll say that I think we're closer than we have been in a while. If we keep
I agree.
as much continuity as possible, I think we're closer than we have. Like even in 2022, when we ended off the 2022 season on a high note, and then we pretty much got rid of everybody
Yeah.
um, after that season. The interim head coach was gone. Burns was gone. DJ Moore was gone. You know, pretty much all of like the offense that we had, like I remember it was like a third of our offense from the 2022 season was gone that off season. So, if we keep as much continuity as possible, we're closer than we've been in a really long time. So, I mean, I overall, like I've got an optimistic outlook on our future. Maybe that doesn't necessarily translate to optimism on how this season goes, but as far as like next season and beyond, I have faith that the front office is going to, I think they're going to draft well, and I think they're going to sign, at least two key free agents um, that we need, and they're also going to, they're going to re-sign the players that should be re-signed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, like, I have faith, total faith in the front office. I'm growing more faith in Canales and his vision, and I think we have some key players that can really help us going forward. So
I
we're
agree with you.
close.
We're close. It just comes down to that the one thing we need in the offseason is, you're right, a veteran. I don't want Dalton back.
Right.
I need a linebacker, whether that's free agency or the draft. I don't care. I need a linebacker, and I don't need a veteran, an old veteran. If we're going veteran, 26, 27, 28, 29 at the latest. But if he's 29, he better be one of the guys, like really great coverage backs. Safety, same thing. I need that in there. And like I said, long-term tackle solution. It's a really weird feeling though to finally sit here and be like, man, we actually have the weapons to get some stuff done. Like I
Mm-hmm.
genuinely believe going out every week, we have the weapons to win a game. It just comes down to, can obviously the quarterback get it done, and of course, can those guys run the routes the right way? Because obviously we heard about early stuff about miscues and stuff. I don't want those stupid stuff. I want them to be able to go out there and play sound football, and if we do, I mean, the ceiling's really high on this team.
Yes, sir. Hey, boys, I gotta get out of here though. I really appreciate talking with y'all, talking football.
Of
It was
course, of
good.
course. We'll just make it nice
Yes,
and easy,
sir.
and then we'll just end it out. I got over 35 people in here hanging out with us. If you guys ever want to come on and talk again, I'm down. Especially if you guys want to bust out the all 22. I got access to NFL Pro, so if you guys want to sit down, we could always go through all that stuff too.
Oh, that'll be dope.
Yeah,
Hell
yeah.
yeah, dude! So whenever you guys want to, just tell me. If you got, we got the group chat going. Just tell me. We'll boot it up, and I'll put in all the all 22 you guys want to watch, and we'll sit there and go through it. You guys can teach me more about it.
All
All
right,
right.
brother.
Yeah. Sounds
All
like
right.
a plan then.
Hell yeah, dude. I appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
I will
Thank
talk to
you.
you guys soon. And yeah, have a great rest of the night, guys.
Thanks you as well.
Of course, bud. See you guys.